That's a song by the DYC choir. I suppose it's the Dakuman Youth Choir. And we'll have a lot more for you. But in the meantime, though, we have to look at what the newspapers are. And then we'll look at the various online portals. It's brought to you by, of course, Smart Organic Solutions, SOS Advance. And Mama V is here. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Roland.
I love the way you look this morning.
I love that jacket of yours.
Yeah, thank you.
I kind of like the color.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you look good.
Yeah,
See?
I think so, yeah. You look good, eh?
Yeah, that's
right.
my
How was your weekend, my dear?
Weekend was busy, but good.
How are the kids and the rest of the family?
Well.
Right.
Everyone is good. How was your weekend? You went to Tamale, huh?
Yeah, I did.
And Sunyai? Oh?
Definitely.
Okay.
And I came back.
Any shout outs to anybody in Tamale?
No. But I want to say good morning to you, Dr. Asana, and also pharmacist Sally Fukombat. You're with the Boku District Hospital. It was a great time meeting you within the period. And I hope that you are going to enjoy your week as well.
See, I said there was going to be some shout outs. Yeah. All right, good morning. If you're just joining us, you missed the AM news. But not to worry, we're here to do the newspapers. You can catch up with what's trending. It's brought to us.
There's one thing I wanted to, perhaps maybe you are not monitoring, maybe you were. The BBC is going to launch.
The pigeon?
Yeah.
Yes, I've been following.
I got fascinated by it this
that
morning.
conversation.
Yeah.
I guess the people in Nigeria will be super excited.
Nigeria. Not only Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cameroon.
I know, but you know, they say in Nigeria, everybody speaks pigeon.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Well, this review segment is brought to you in association with Smart Organic Solutions. It's SOS Advance. Let's do the newspapers now. We've got the Daily Graphic newspaper. Front page of the Graphic. This story will be dominating today. Trust me. Towing levy put on hold pending review of law. Comes with the man whose signature puts the law on hold. That's the Transport Minister, Kweku Esiama. We'll get into the story proper. Also, High Court dismisses suit by Winners Chapel International. It's been 13 years and there's a verdict. Immigration Service refutes claims of Indian businessman. Also, another story there comes with the picture of Kwame Esua Techi, Comptroller General of Immigration. Okay, so let's start off with the story on page 3 on the towing levy. And story says, following extensive consultations between the Ministry of Transport and stakeholders in the transport sector, the government has decided not to implement the mandatory towing levy scheduled to have started on July 1, 2017. A statement signed by the Minister of Transport, Kweku Ofori-Esiama, and issued in Accra yesterday, said the government had decided to seek a review of parts of legislative instrument, the LI 2180 Road Traffic Regulations 2012. It said the review would seek to remove from the law specifically the concept of mandatory towing levy on all owners and persons in charge of motor vehicles and trailers, and also limit the role of the government in the provision of towing services for only licensing and regulating service providers. So in 2012, that law, that LI 2180 was passed. What does it mean? Remember, Parliament is on recess. So if anything is going to be referred back to Parliament, it has to be when they are back.
Definitely.
I've got to ask you, Roland Walker, because I can't pretend that you don't speak for the organization that's expected to implement this if we were to have. So is there an official position from the Road Safety Management
Services? Yes. Right now it's been referred to the legal department, so I'm sure we'll come out with an official position when they have come out with some responses.
This must be a big blow, definitely.
Yes, it definitely is a big blow because a lot of investment have gone into this. Not only us, we have other parties also per what the agreement was to have also some kind of arrangement to be part of the process. So
okay, one last question. The fear was judgment debts. Are you guys going to go to court?
I think I'm not in the position to answer that, definitely. I'm yet to read my law, so when I do that, then I could be in a better position to do that.
Okay, that's it. Time up. Let's go to page 16. Still in the Graphic, this is issue on Winners Chapel. It says, after 13 years of legal battle over the ownership of Winners Chapel, the Accra High Court has dismissed a suit by Winners Chapel International, which sought to evict Winners Chapel, Ghana, from the church premises and claim all properties belonging to the church. The court, presided over by Mr. Justice K.A. Oforiatta, held that WCI, that is Winners Chapel International, headed by Bishop David Oyedepo, was not duly registered in Ghana as prescribed by the Companies Act 1963, Act 179, and therefore it had no legal basis to operate a church or any other business in Ghana. Here's a quote. I conclude that all the acts purported to have been done by the plaintiff in breach of sections 2719, 6 and 197 of the Act 179 are illegal and invalid. It stated. It, however, held that Winners Chapel, Ghana, headed by Bishop George Ajimai, had been registered in accordance with the law and therefore had the legal backing to operate. I don't know if you remember events of some 13 years ago, but there was something that led to a breakaway because the Winners Chapel Ghana was Winners Chapel International. Abi, you go to Winners Chapel. I'm not going to put you in that corner. I'm not going to put you there.
Actually, incidentally, at the time that this feud was ongoing, I was then just my normal Catholic. And so I was back at TV3 and I was doing investigations on
okay.
And then now I happen to go to church at Winners Chapel International.
Yeah.
You see the irony of the event.
Yeah. Put your Sunday teacher thing aside. Put the fact that you go to Winners Chapel International. Let's talk about the story you did way back when you were back at TV3. There were a lot of things that were rumored, I remember.
Yeah,
one was huge monies that the church in Ghana was transporting via road to Nigeria.
Your memories are actually very good. Yes, and there was one of the allegations that were raised. Incidentally, I had both sides also come to me because I mean, when it came to the newsroom, I was the first one who was approached by Winners Chapel, I believe, Ghana at the time. So, and I had a friend in the church too, incidentally. So I kind of had a lot of leads as to what the other side of the story was. And then at some point, when the other side also came, they referred them to Roland. Oh, go and see Roland, because he's the one who is investigating the story. So ultimately went to court. There have been a number of events since then. The international church seemed to have moved on. I also seem to have meshed myself into the international aspects of the church. So
you haven't quite answered the question.
Because I go to the church. And
that's why I said put that aside. No, so what was the truth? And were they actually sending a lot of money to Nigeria?
Not now. I go to the international, so no. You get my point now. So, but at the time, you have to look at what this aspect of the Ghana church is presenting and the documentation they prove, or they put forward, and then you also look at the accusations.
So you guys still don't have any relationship with the Ghana church?
Not at all.
But you guys still have winners. And you're Christians.
We are Christians.
So you've got to patch up.
No, it's not as if we're just two different churches. I mean, that's just how it is.
But one came from another.
Yes, but it also shows
one was representing another.
Yeah, a lot of churches also came from the Catholic Church.
Don't give me that. Let's do the last story on page 16.
Have you had breakaway pastors from the
immigration?
ICGC?
Oh, lots of pastors. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
But this is unusual. Listen, they are still maintaining the title as in the name of the church. This was...
No, this is Winners
Chapel. Hang on, this is my understanding. If you permit me, if everybody permits me, I can use another example. There's Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo's church. We know there's a pastor that's in charge of the Ghana branch. And if suddenly we hear that he's claiming to own the church, and there's a breakaway, one is international and one is Ghana, I mean, that's like an unusual story. You get what I mean?
Well, I don't think it's unusual. It's just that human beings operate.
I'm just saying that yours is like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. Yeah. So
it's like okay. Let me just summarize. It's like you send an emissary to a land to go and open a church, and that emissary is the one who is the head. After some point, the human instinct takes part and says that I want to take part of what I created. Do you get it?
I get you. I get you.
It's just the human behavior aspects of the people who occupy the church.
Yeah.
But the church is a human institution.
I hope that this decision by the High Court will put to an end, or there's room for appeal. So we never know if this is the end.
I'm just a normal congregant.
No, but I'm not talking to you right now as a church member. We're discussing the issue.
Yeah, true. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, no comment. It's okay,
the
no
church
comment.
leadership will have to decide
No
that. I
comment.
don't think
I'm
it's
going to
about
ask the people watching the show to send us their
I'm sure there are lots of
and
people who go to Women's Chapel who watch the show too.
Yeah, I mean, the pastors leave ICGC. You can leave.
Yeah, we've had a number of pastors who have left the church even subsequently. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do the story on immigration because you remember there's this Indian man who's had issues with his partner, doing business in Ghana. And I'm sure you've heard the story about him being deported and the fact that the immigration service and a certain minister is also in the midst of this. Let's read the story on page 16. It says the Ghana Immigration Service has refuted claims by an Indian businessman who was deported from Ghana in June 2017 that the service was bent on destroying his business in the country. Mr. Sivaram made headlines last week when he petitioned President Nana Addo Dankwa-Akufo-Addo, alleging that the Minister of the Interior, Mr. Ambrose Derry, the Comptroller General of the GIS, Mr. Kwame Techi, and the Deputy Comptroller General in charge of operations, Lord Efrifa, wanted to deport him at all costs. Well, there's a reaction. In a statement reacting to the accusations, the Ghana Immigration Service said neither Mr. Derry nor the service had any interest in the feud between Mr. Sivaram and his business partner, which is now a subject of litigation. Okay, so they give you a background and the deportation and other side of the story. But what we're waiting for is what the president would say, because of course there was a petition sent.
That story is a very bizarre story.
It is.
It's the same thing.
Coincidentally,
human
Gary Nimakumafo is the Indian man's lawyer.
Yeah. That's Mr. Ashok's lawyer.
Yeah. No, the same Sivaram. Ashok, yes. Okay. Yeah, you're going to say something in connection with it?
Two partners are working. One decides that I want to take over. It's just a human. Sometimes we're greedy, I believe. We are actually, not sometimes.
That's why we're human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's quickly see what's on the back page of the Daily Graphic just before we move to other papers. Burkina Faso crash Ghana's Chan dreams. Oh, and it says Ghana Black Stars Team B yesterday failed to qualify for the championship of Africa Nations competition after they were stunned 2-1 by their Burkina Faso counterparts at the Baba Yara Stadium. That reminds me, Roland, the Chelsea game, how did it end?
Chelsea won 2-1.
Oh, okay.
Both goals were provided by Alonso.
I just wanted the score line.
All right.
Master, don't give me 2-1 when we scored 4. Go ahead and do the times.
Which team scored 4? I was out of town.
We're on a 4-goal project. Stick to the times. Let's do the times.
Well, which team scored 4? I didn't
Google it.
Okay. Don't play against relegation-threatening teams and think that you are safe. Well, let's look at the Ghanaian Times. It has on the front page the subject of government halting the mandatory towing levy, law to be reviewed, modalities to be formulated to deal with broken down vehicles. And we know that was contained in a statement that was issued by the Minister of Transport, or the Ministry of Transport, signed by the Minister yesterday. And then we also have, I won't waver in fulfilling government promises, the president seems to be saying. And then MPC, Ghana's annual population growth alarming. Ghanaians must celebrate their own entrepreneurs, and that's McDan, he owns McDan Shipping. And then we have other stories there. A number of stories there. On the back page, though, we have Ghana Open Taekwondo Championship ends. Ghana booted out of Chan. That's on the back page of the paper. A very sad incident there. The fact that they call them Team B just means that they are not prepared to meet the challenges of the football times in Africa. Team B. When they call you Team B, it's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a
Why do they call them Team B?
I don't know.
Is it the official name?
It used to be local Black
Stars.
The local Black Stars. Then they changed it to Team B. Because you say Team B,
wait, hang on. Is that the official name?
Now it's the official.
Wow.
Yeah. That's usually what we get from
that's like
the
a second-class team. So we shouldn't be surprised that they lost.
Yeah. It's like, what you say is sometimes what follows you. All right, so please do the Finder.
Let's do the Finder. I've got the Finder newspaper, front page of the Finder. President backs Bank of Ghana to sanitize financial sector. The Bank of Ghana is 60 years. They celebrated that anniversary last Friday. Yeah, and they've had a series of events to mark their 60th anniversary. I was fortunate, Roland, to be part of this anniversary celebration.
What did you do there?
I met very great people who work at the Bank of Ghana. Yeah, and lots of them also watch our program. So good morning to all of
they
you.
do?
And yeah, they do. They do. I'll begin to unleash names in the coming days. I met some people. Was it Keswa I met who works with the banking college as well? She watches the show every morning before she goes to work.
Wow.
So
Keswa, good morning to you, and thanks for watching us.
Amazing people at the Bank of Ghana. Congratulations to them and happy 60th anniversary. Also on the front page of the Finder, GRA to clamp down on unregistered businesses. Government damns controversial toll levy. NIB to refocus on industrial development. So these are the headlines on the front page of the Finder newspaper.
You're done?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have on the front page of the Daily Guide, that's the next paper we're looking at. Baumia fires NDC, stop the lies. Government stops towing levy. We have free SHS campaign takes off. EC boss under pressure over don't call me cars, and that's in quotes there. But the main story is Baumia firing NDC, that they should stop the lies. And the story is captured on page 3 of the paper, the Daily Guide. It says the Vice President, Mahamudu Baumia, has been compelled by vile propaganda directed at him to fire a salvo at the opposition and minority National Democratic Congress. The story continues that it follows claims by the Deputy Minority Leader, James Kluchi Avaji, who is also the Member of Parliament for Ketu North constituency in the Volta region, to the effect that the Vice President had made a sudden U-turn on his position of the issue of borrowing. According to him, Dr. Baumia had said during the electioneering, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's go on. This is what Dr. Baumia said. According to Dr. Baumia, he had never mounted any platform to condemn government's borrowing, but rather spoke against excessive borrowing by the then Mahama-led NDC government, which did not yield meaningful dividends for the country, but plunged Ghana into a debt crisis. Unbridled borrowing by Mahama's NDC government left a colossal debt for the MPP administration to the tune of some 122 billion Ghana cedis in just under 8 years, from the 9 billion Ghana cedis inherited at the beginning of 2009. All right, so those are the stories we have. I always like the center spread. I think I spotted some nice stories there. So let me go to the center spread. They call it News 1. Okay, today is no News 1. It's just entertainment. But the story about Sarkodie says that he didn't just get up one day to become accepted by the Nigerian entertainment public. He really worked hard for it. I believe so too. He's the best rapper alive in Ghana. Obede Pombede. It took years for Nigeria.
He's the best rapper alive in Ghana.
To accept
Are you kidding
me?
I'm
telling you.
Are you kidding me?
Who is it?
Sarkodie or Brafo?
Oh, he's the best rapper.
Yeah?
Sarkodie is the best.
Yeah?
You can say anything.
No, I'm not saying
There's
anything.
no challenge.
Whatever.
All right.
He's a good rapper, by the way, but
Yeah.
I will not put him ahead of a Brafo.
I know.
Or Brafo anytime, any day.
Or
Man,
Manifest.
Just
Or
play.
Manifest.
Oh, I mean, forget about friends.
It took
and,
years.
Forget about friends and associates.
Look, this
yeah?
is the truth.
And put an Brafo track. Damn.
Among all the rappers in Ghana and the artists in Ghana, none is accepted in Nigeria apart from the old timers like we have Amachi Dede and
But
the rest.
VIP is not an old timer. VVIP is still very much hot
VIP
and accepted in
they
Nigeria.
accepted.
Reggie
But
Rockstone?
the rappers who accepted in Nigeria, Sarkodie. Flavor no more when you
Sarkodie is definitely big in Nigeria.
Obrafo, one name no alata. Obi name no.
Really?
I'm telling you. Then we have other stories. Another one says, "Don't call me underground artist. He's up and coming." But
Who's
he said
that?
you shouldn't call him. He said he called Zoom. I thought it was
The
other one.
I heard his name before. Okay, yeah.
Zoom.
All right, let's move on.
There's another one Echo featured. Derek Echo Sam featured the other day. Cranium or what's his name?
No, but Cranium is not.
It's a Jamaican.
It's not like new.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
There's another one Echo featured. That's from Kisai also.
Let's do the Daily Dispatch newspaper and one
Kaboom,
story.
kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Sorry, kaboom! I love you so much. Good morning to you, kaboom. If you're watching us.
Front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper. It's kind of a story that is telling us it could happen to us. Check this out. Disaster can repeat in Ghana, according to an expert. Ebri and Kokrobite likely targets. The full story is on the back page. Picked from a conversation on Class FM with Dr. Eche Sikanku. And the expert speaking here is Professor Anamo Ochre, who's a former executive director at the Center of Geographical Information Service at the University of Ghana. And he says Ghana is not insulated from natural disasters such as the mudslide, which occurred in Sierra Leone. We know it's taken lots of lives, and Ghana has reached out to Sierra Leone in the wake of that. But you can read the details of the story and the revelations by Professor Amamo Ochri right there in the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Roland?
Okay, so we're doing the Daily Dispatch newspaper. No,
I just
the Daily
the Daily
Statesman
Dispatch.
newspaper.
Okay.
Please have the BNFT. That's the last
Sure.
paper you do. The Daily Statesman newspaper has on the front page Abraham Atta or Abraham Atta. What's the pronunciation of the name?
I know it's Abraham Atta.
Okay, Abraham Atta leads for free SHS campaign. He's an ambassador for it. He doesn't go to senior high school in Ghana though. Is he in Ghana?
No, he's not.
Okay.
His school's in the United States. But I think there's
certain rationale
he's
for
been
it.
leading the campaign is on now, I guess, because the school year will begin next month. So I know he's been doing a number of things. Whipping up interest and enthusiasm, I guess.
All right, so we have promote confidence in economy and President Charles Bank of Ghana, and then we also have Ghana rescue Sierra Leone with rescues. All right. The $1 million, is that not what the Indians gave us? We gave it back to Sierra Leone.
Oh, Roland.
Sorry.
Every amount, if you don't link it to a football player, you link it to India and the
How much was Neymar bought for?
I don't know. I'm just happy that the pressure is not on Pogba any longer.
Yeah, I can imagine if you're a Man United supporter. Well, by the way, Man United did great over the weekend. It was a great match.
Yeah, whatever. We don't need you to say it.
Yeah, true. So we have other stories there. It says, promote confidence in economy. President tells Bank of Ghana. And then we have the rescuing of Ghana. As Sierra Leone had difficulties. $1 million we gave them. All right.
Check out the pictures on the back page. I think it's the vice president.
Okay, so on the back page, I love the dress of the back of the vice president. That's right. I have to call him for his tailor. So we have the pictures on the back page.
That's the donation, eh?
Okay, it may not have been captured. So it says the vice president hands over $1 million relief items to Sierra Leone, and you have a picture, the pictures there, and you can see some of the areas that have been affected. These are Mwamote Ayekwu range, that's right.
Yeah, but natural disaster is natural disaster. It doesn't matter what you do.
Okay,
yeah. But of course, we know that there are some human errors as well. Sometimes we build in places where we're not supposed to build. We block waterways and things like that. That's also one of the challenge with this. All right, let's end with the hardcore papers with the Business and Financial Times newspaper, the BNFT front page. Economy still fragile. Ken Thompson says government must focus on agric trade and industry. Also, government must adopt timber procurements policy. Free SHS must include entrepreneurship training, according to the University of Ghana Vice Chancellor. Back page of the BNFT. Changes at Ghana Association of Bankers. Ease wage payment distribution system records 94% growth. But this one on changes of the Ghana Association of Bankers says the Chief Executive Officer of UMB, John Ewa, has been elected to serve as the treasurer of the bank. The Ghana Association of Bankers, Mr. Ewa, was elected at the 36th annual general meeting of the association held August 11, 2017 in Accra. The meeting also saw Mr. Frank Edu Jr., Managing Director of Cow Bank Limited, Also elected as the vice president of the association, Mr. Al-Hassan Andani, managing director of Stanbic Bank, remains the president of the association. All right, details of that meeting and the faces of the people leading the Ghana Association of Bankers featured on the back page of the Business and Financial Times. Let's turn our attention online now. We'll start with myjoyonline.com. Make a brief stop, City FM, and then finish off at the BBC. But this review segment is brought to us in association with SOS Advance. It's a natural and organic health supplement used for cleaning the blood and boosting the immune system. Roland, myjoyonline.com.
So we have other stories there, Mamavi. KMA planting trees to restore Kumasi to Garden City status. That's a good one, Mamavi.
Embarked on a project to make Kumasi green. Yeah, definitely good.
You know, Kumasi used to be called the Garden City.
Yeah.
Or it's still the Garden City.
It is still the Garden City, but I guess if we're talking about to
greenery.
See physical, exactly. Maybe that's what's probably they're trying to restore. All right, let's move on to other stories. ICU wants government to scrap overtime taxes. The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union is calling on the government to waive the taxes on overtime earnings by workers.
It's unheard of in any country.
For some of us who don't earn overtime,
why don't you earn overtime?
We don't earn overtime.
If you're a manager, yeah, of course, you don't have to earn overtime. But if there's an officer or a subordinate, that person needs to earn overtime.
We don't, so we probably don't know what the ICU is saying even. Okay, let's move on. Kasapa founder vows to take over, revive a dying telco. Founder of Celtel Limited, now Kasapa Telecom Limited, Prince Kofi Kluje Singh has said he is in the process of taking over the dying company. In Ethiopia, mystical underground churches have questioned God's existence, but in the northern Ethiopian town of Lalibela, I was presented with fairly substantial evidence. I guess this is a feature that you might want to read if you find it interesting. Chant qualifier, Black Stars be powerless to resist might of Burkina Faso. Yeah, if you call yourself a Team B. All right. Justice for All program beneficiary goes back to jail the third time in 5 years. That's the story, Roland. You read in the news. Rafiq Salam filing a detailed report for us on this 33-year-old driver, Adam Ibrahim. He's going back for 25 in hard labor. This time around, nobody is bringing you out. I think you want to be there, so stay there. Okay, government finally abandons controversial mandatory toll levy. Charlie Water photos, the beautiful are not truly lovely. It is the loved that is beautiful. I kind of like this. You might want to check it out, especially if you didn't go and you missed it. Ghana's fortunes soon to increase in leaps and bounds. That's according to Dr. Mensa Otabel, and he is the head pastor of my church. A lot of people dancing in, his misfortune, if you like, but a lot of people also wanting to go to, and indeed they did go to church on Sunday just to listen to what he had to say, and lots of stories coming out of that sermon delivered last Sunday at the ICGC Christ Temple. All right, so if you also want to catch up, you can always read it here. 4 killed in Togo amid protests against 50-year ruling dynasty. And this is something that, it looks like some of the people in Togo they've bottled in a lot. And they are kind of unleashing it now. But you think
something will come out of what they're doing?
Well, I'm not sure. But listen, just as they were demonstrating in Togo, there was another demonstration here in Ghana.
Oh, you mean their Togolese counterpart?
Exactly. We captured it. Maybe just a little bit of it, and then we'll move on to the BBC and make way for sports. Yeah? Let's check it out. All right, Roland. We're not playing it apparently.
Okay, so let's go to the BBC. And when you get to the BBC Africa page, South Africa grants Grace Mugabe immunity. And Robert Mugabe's wife is back in Zimbabwe, Harare, despite allegations of an assault at a hotel in Johannesburg. And we know that, she beats the hell out of a 20-year-old model who was found in the...
That's your... Is that part of the story? She beat the hell out?
And then there's...
Oh, okay, she beat the hell out of me.
The 20-year-old so-called model South African was met in the room of her son. He says, "What are you doing here? Do you know my son is a son of a...
He's a presidential material.
Is a son of Robert Mugabe of the Zimbabwe. I will beat the hell out of you." Beats her mercilessly. Anyway, but up there, when you go down, let's scroll up a bit.
Yeah, there's a story
BBC Pidgin, we don't land Gidigba. Meets the team bringing the BBC to tens of millions of pidgin speakers in Western Central Africa. Great.
Yeah.
I hope that I can cut that on shortwave.
All right. This is a story of interest to Moa. Nigerian President Buhari returns home. The Nigerian leader spent 3 months in the UK seeking treatment for an unspecified illness. But if you follow the reports, they say, well, even though he's back in Nigeria, they are not sure if he's immediately going to take over as, president of the country. All right, there are a lot more stories here. There's also Congo mudslide toll rises, Roland. That's also, whilst we're concentrating on Sierra Leone, then the Congo one also came in. So
was rising.
It looks like Africa, we're not entirely safe. We're not out of it yet. That's it for the review segment. We thank you for joining us.